Quantization is great for fixing rhythmic errors, but it's often time-consuming to use to impart a sense of groove to an entire live project. Let's take a look at how you can use Live's grooves to apply a rhythmic feel to both audio and MIDI clips. So groove files are a collection of timing and velocity attributes derived from a human performance, or from patterns in a legendary drum machine like the Roland TR-808, or even from other programs like Logic Audio. So I've already got a drum preset loaded on the drum track here, and I'm just going to add some MIDI by inserting an empty clip, and then getting my pencil tool, and just dragging some 16th notes in here. And I'm doing this because I want some perfectly straight 16th notes that would represent something you might end up if you're clicking notes in to create patterns. And I'll get out of the pencil tool by using the Command key, Command B, Control B on a PC. You can find our grooves through the browser by using the search function, and you can do that by either typing the word groove, because that word is usually contained in a groove file, or by using the file extension for grooves, which is .agr, and I'm going to do that. Now I'm already in the all results area, so as soon as I typed that, stuff started to populate the content part of the browser. And I'm going to scroll down a little bit, and we can see that we've got a bunch of different things here, and there are some Logic style grooves. And let me choose this Logic 8 swing groove. Now I click it, and you can hear it play. Let me stop that by pressing the space bar. And to apply this, I'm going to start by dragging this into the groove pool. Now I can open the groove pool by clicking on the little button here that's just below the browser on the left. And then I'm going to scroll, find that again, and drag that into the groove pool. So from here, I can apply this by going down to the clip box and clicking on the drop-down menu under the word groove. And you'll see that any groove files that we've drug into the groove pool will appear there. And I can go ahead and click that. Now, before I add that, let me play this just one time so you hear how straight these 16th notes are. Right? Nothing going on there, no feel whatsoever. So I'll go back to the chooser here and click that. And now let's hear what it sounds like. So quite a bit different. I actually intended to use a 16th note swing file on this, and it looks like I grabbed an 8th note one. So I'm going to undo what I just did there. Let me go back in there and grab one of the 16th note files. Yeah, I'll get this one right here. That's a little better. So I'll drag that one in, and this time I'll select the 16th note one, and this should give me the results that I was looking for. So let's hear this. So now that you can hear, it's moved over or delayed every other note. Now notice that it's doing this in real time, and the notes that I have on the track, they haven't moved at all. If I want to see what it's actually doing, I can go over here and I can click the commit button that's underneath the groove, and that will actually quantize and show us exactly what it's doing. So now you can see that every other note's been moved over, and in addition to that, if you look at the velocity markers below each note, you'll note that they're not all the same velocity anymore, and it looks like the ones that are on the offbeat have a little bit more volume or velocity, and the ones that are more on the beat are a little bit softer. So you can also grab these groove files and drag them right onto a clip. Let's do that. Now when they come in, notice that they're all mapped to C1. So if I want to actually hear this, I'm going to have to move it up to one of the places where I actually have notes loaded. And remember, in Impulse, these are mapped starting at C3. So I'm going to select this, and I can drag this up by just clicking on the first one. But you notice as I was doing that, it actually was moving things around. So I'm going to undo that, and this time I'm going to move them up using key command. So I can do that using my arrow key to go up a half step, or shift up arrow to move it an octave at a time. So let me do that. And now that I'm at where the samples are mapped, I can use my up arrow to just move that by half step, and I'll get that on the hi-hat. So I'm showing you this because this is a great way to start creating those little percussion parts that we often see in electronic music. And from here, we can edit this and turn it into something more we want. But the other thing that we can do is if you want to create your own groove file, we can do that as well. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to edit this just a little bit, and I'm going to select some of these notes that are every other 16th, and I'm going to shift click them to do that. And now I'm going to move those over so that I'm not constrained by the grid. I'm going to click that first note, and then I'm going to press the command key down to temporarily disable the grid. And as I do this, Note that I can move that freely, but I'm going to let that go before I release the command key, or that would be the control key on a PC, so that it will actually let me leave it there. Okay, so now I've changed that, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go up and I'm going to drag what I've changed into the groove pool. From there, I can go ahead and I can give that a new name by selecting the title and then Command R. I'll call this My Groove. And now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to drag this and put this over on this audio file that I've already got loaded. Before I do that though, I'm going to play it. So let me stop these clips from playing. This is what this groove sounds like right now. Okay, so very straight. And now I'll take this groove that we extracted, drag and drop that right on top of that audio file. Let's hear what it sounds like now. So it's definitely imparted that sense of swing groove to this audio file. Now if I want to see what that's done, I can also commit that as well. So let me go ahead and click the commit button down here. And notice that it's added these warp markers to all of this. And again, with that swing feel, it's moved over every other note. So before we get out of here, let me just tell you a little bit more about the parameters that we can use to adjust these grooves. So first of all, the bass column shows us the rhythmic value that that groove is applied to. The quantized percentage we see in this column, if we set a percentage here, it will actually pre-quantize the clip that you're using this on before it applies the groove to it. The value in the timing column allows us to adjust how much this actual groove will affect any clips we apply it to. The randomization column will allow us to randomize a little bit how that groove file affects the clip. And the velocity column allows us to control how much any of the velocity parameters affect the clip. And lastly, the global amount percentage allows us to set a global amount for any of the grooves that are used on any of the clips in the set. And you can actually over-accentuate those grooves by clicking in here and dragging the percentage higher if you want to go all the way up to 130%. Or you can click in there and type a value and reset that back down to 100%. So using live groove files turns groove quantization into a very simple process and is a very powerful tool that you can use to improve the feel of your projects.